2, 1.
Hello, it's Darryl Malloy, and I'm here with Renaissance Art Collective, and I'm here sitting with Lakeem, who I project to be the #1 next artist in America. He brings a very unique perspective to the art industry, and we're here in South Dallas at the Forest Theater, and he's doing a mural here. And I saw him start this on Thursday night in the middle of the night. I wanted to get up out of bed right then and come out and see him, but it took a little time, so we're here now. He's in the process of finishing up, and we just want to be a part of it, want to talk to him about what he's doing. Lakeem, it's good to see you.
Same. Pleasure to see you again.
Just to bring you guys up to date, Lakeem, tell us where you're from.
Born and raised here in South Dallas. This is my hometown. From elementary school to high school, I was here in South Dallas. Yeah.
Where'd you go to high school?
Lincoln High School.
Lincoln High School.
Yeah.
Tell me this, how did you get started in art? What was your art inspiration?
I would say my early inspirations in art came from supportive teachers.
Okay.
From my elementary school teacher, Ms. Camp, really started teaching us the foundational skills of what drawing was.
Okay.
What does it mean to express yourself through art? Her favorite quote was, "If it is to be, it is up to me. Art is what happens if you let your feelings go." And she said that every single day we came into art class. So that was the early beginnings in elementary school. And then just throughout school in general, in middle school, Miss Chris was my art teacher, and she kind of played a part. And this is around maybe 2004 or 5. Was also when I was introduced to a mentor, Dave Herman, who showed me photography and video editing.
Okay.
My 8th grade year in middle school, I did a program called Sight and Sound.
Okay.
And it was a multimedia program where we were learning how to use cameras, lapel mics. We were visiting KERA and getting exposed to different ways to use photography and media to document our neighborhood and communities. And I think that was a pivotal point in making art, because it introduced me to using art as a way to speak or have a voice,
right,
opposed to just making cool colors and shapes and things. So when I got to high school, Miss Yarbrough was the teacher that really honed in on my skill, and she knew what it took to go to the next level in terms of college. So high school, I started developing a portfolio and really sharpening my skills with drawing. I started painting later on in high school and getting detailed, and so yeah, a lot of the educators in my community got me into being an artist.
Are you still in touch with those teachers?
Yeah, well, Miss Yarbrough I am, for sure. Miss Chris, she moved to Florida, and Miss Count, man, I should find out what she's doing these days. But Dave Herman, he's still my mentor.
I have my lapel mic, but I left mine down. So I can't connect to it. But we're going to try and make it through it with the traffic and all. I think that makes it the beauty of it as well.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me this. You were an athlete as well.
Yes, I was.
So how did you balance being an athlete and an artist?
I think sports taught me discipline in a large way. In terms of, one, staying out of trouble.
Okay.
Specifically in high school. I played football and basketball in middle school, and in high school it was mainly football.
Okay.
Having to go to practice in the summertime, going to two-a-days, working out, staying active, having a team, not just being solo, but having a team of people, being a leader on a team. I think those characteristics in sport taught me certain aspects of being disciplined, whether it's in art or just doing things on time, or just having a competitive mindset as well.
Okay.
It's how sports played a part in it.
And you made mention of scholarship offers in sports.
Right.
how did you decide to go art instead of sports?
Well, a little background in high school, man. Football was the thing, and a lot of times, yeah, and a lot of times with young teenagers, they're looking for sports to be their meal ticket. Like, oh, I'm gonna go to the NFL, I'm gonna make millions going to the league, or I'm gonna play and be in college and get a scholarship. And I received scholarships from West Texas A&M, Alcorn State, El Paso, different colleges. And I was a leader on the team, first team, all district, and all those accolades and things. But art was something that I saw myself doing long term. Even if I went to school for sports, I was still going to be doing art. But the deciding factor was the scholarship for football wasn't a full ride. And my parents were like, you know, if you get hurt or anything, football, your body, you're not going to play football for your whole life. But art strengthens your brain and strengthens your mind, and that's something that you can do for the rest of your life.
That's excellent. So your parents have always been supportive of Korean art.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to other artists who felt as though, or the parents felt as though they couldn't make a living doing art.
Right.
They weren't supportive. So you have a lot of guys out there that had dreamed of being artists that weren't supported by their parents. So it's excellent that your parents did that.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about college. So you went to the University of Texas and majored in fine arts.
Yep.
From South Dallas. So how'd you get from South Dallas to Austin at the University of Texas with a degree in fine arts?
Windows of opportunity. I definitely took advantage of windows of opportunities. My senior year in high school, when I was in the top 10% of my class, and around that time they had the law or the rule that if you're in the top 10% of your class, you can get accepted to any college in Texas.
Excellent.
So that inspired and motivated me to go to college. And out of the schools, it was really a tie between U of H. Well, the interesting part is I actually took the offer, the scholarship offer to go to West Texas A&M to play football. And they were expecting me to go there for football. But you know, West Texas A&M, we toured the school and it was like not appealing at all. It was cold and I didn't know what was in West Texas, so I wasn't really inspired to go there. And so I already made it in my mind that I probably wasn't going to go for football. And then at the same time, UT had accepted me because one, I had a great, it was a program called EIL,
Okay.
Education is Freedom, EIF.
Okay.
And I wish I could remember his name because I was shouting out. But we had people in this alternate program that was helping students get college ready. So every day, sometimes we would skip class because it became like a hangout spot for a lot of students. But we would go in there, apply for scholarships, apply for colleges, and just use that space and time in school to just apply for stuff. Because that's what they were there for, to help students in unfortunate neighborhoods or low socioeconomic neighborhoods have opportunities to go. So shout out to him. Man, I wish I could remember his name. But EIF is a program that really got us on the track to applying for colleges in that mindset. So I got accepted to UT and U of H. The only determining factor was U of H was taking too long for financial aid. And UT was very precise and they communicated well. And then shortly after they sent me the acceptance letter into the School of Fine Arts. So I had a major that I could go into and I was accepted into the school. So, and I heard of the name of the school, it was prestigious. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to Austin. I just made my mind to go.
And so, even though we're in that period right now where a lot of people are talking about affirmative action, you were top 10%. So affirmative action had nothing to do with your college degree. You were more than qualified, you made application, and you got in and you were excited to be there.
Right.
How was your experience?
It was a culture shock at first.
Okay.
Going to UT from a predominantly black high school, a predominantly black community was different. But it was a challenge and it was exciting at the same time because I was in a new environment and I felt like I was ready to leave the hood and I was ready to get a new experience. So it was a culture shock, but I didn't let that discourage me. I used it as an advantage. Like, I'm doing something new, different, and exciting every day. And so I adapted to it. In terms of academics, it was rough starting off because of the pace of learning. College gives you a lot of freedom. You know, high school, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you had somewhere to be every day. But college was like, I can stay asleep if I wanted to, or I don't have to go to class. But we had that freedom. So being exposed to a new freedom, being in a different environment where my parents can't just walk up walk in, and it was a really fun experience.
Okay. So tell me about some of your art instructors.
Yeah,
because UT has some very famous teachers.
they did.
So tell me about some of the teachers. We'll start off, not to downplay anyone, but who was your favorite teacher? Tell me why.
Certainly Michael Ray Charles
Okay.
was my favorite professor at UT. On the staff, it was Michael Ray Charles, Professor John Yancey was a big time mosaic artist in Austin and worldwide as well. And Moyo Okadiji was an African, I think he was from South Africa, and he taught art history, black art history, from art history in Africa and things, so those were my favorite three teachers. But Michael Ray, I related to him a lot because he was from Houston. He was into basketball, but he's also a world-renowned painter. His work has been shown in Paris, Rome, New York, just all around the world. And his style was very disruptive. He didn't have cute art or art that was just pleasing to the art. He really had disruptive topics, and he made people cringe almost when they looked at his art by the stuff that he was talking about. But here he is, a black man teaching at a PWI, teaching painting to young students. So that was inspiring to have a black professor who I can talk to and who understood my background, and we can relate in certain ways.
So let's talk about, you worked for the newspaper in Austin. Tell us what newspaper, what you did at the newspaper.
Yeah, so during my time at UT, I became an illustrator for the Daily Texan. And it was the Daily Texan was a weekly comic book subscription for the newspapers at UT. And I was doing comic book strips, political strips, or strips about college life and things like that. So it was really a series of illustrations that I had to submit at the end of each week that kind of spoke about my experience as a college student on campus. Or we could draw cartoons and things like that. And it was fun. It was a nice thing to do in between time and keep my skills
So
up.
we're here today in front of a mural. How much illustrative art, cartoon art do you actually practice now? Have you expanded on through education? Tell me about that.
Well, I'd say illustration is definitely the foundation of my art. I was drawing before I became a painter. And doing tattoos. I started doing tattoos in 2010, and that really pushed my drawing skills because you had small room for error when you're doing tattoos on people. So I had to become a better illustrator and a better drawer. So, and drawing is more illustration versus fine art illustration is more narrative based. You're telling a story. You're creating a narrative with your drawings, where fine art can be splashed paint on a wall, or it can be dots, or it can be. It's more expressive. It doesn't have to be more figurative. Where illustration is you're trying to say something with the drawings that you're doing. So I kind of merged the two styles and took a fine art approach with illustration. But I'm more of an illustrator that paints.
Right.
Who uses paint as a medium to illustrate things. And I think that's why my work connected with you and other artists, people, because I'm really illustrating images that's saying things instead of having a fine art approach.
So I consider you a fine artist that does illustrations and tells stories. I think storytelling is the most important thing right now. I went through a period in life where, people were promoting vision boarding. And I was like, men don't vision board. But then I realized that my art was my vision board.
Yeah.
And so I can be motivated to walk through my house and see art on my wall. And I think people should be motivated by walking through and seeing your art.
Right.
Because all of your art tells a story.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen a piece of yours that doesn't tell a story. And today, in today's times, we're going to talk about taking away history books and various things.
Right.
We need stories told to us.
Yeah.
So tell me this, why this mural?
Well, the inspiration for this mural came from a drawing that I did. And that illustration that I got the reference from was a picture of Ice Cube.
Okay.
Holding a Final Call newspaper.
Okay.
And it said United Parish, and it said Final Call at the top. And on the right side of him was a bunch of Muslim brothers. They had on suit and ties with the glasses on. They were all militant. And on the left side of him, all the people were wearing all black. But it was representative of the guys in the neighborhood and the gangsters and the people who could possibly be seen as destroying the community, with gang violence and black on black crime. And at that time, Farrakhan was a big presence in a lot of hip hop and rappers' music. And this is post Fight the Power and post Chuck D, Public Enemy. This is after that, where gangster rap was big time.
Okay.
Dr. Dre, NWA, this is their era starting to bloom. But also, but at that time, Farrakhan was speaking about brothers, y'all got to unite a parish because you are falling into the white man's agenda in terms of you killing yourself by you're seeing yourself in the people that you're killing and things like that. So that was the original message behind the illustration.
So the original message behind the illustration. But in 2023, the message has not changed. We still need that same message in 2023.
Right. Yeah. It evolved.
It's evolving, and you're illustrating it. So tell me this. We're here at the Forest Theater in South Dallas. We're doing illustration. We've been working on it for about 4 or 5 days now.
Yeah.
Unite a Parish is the name of it. And inspired by a newspaper that you saw, an article, and is there anyone in particular, any person that you've drawn, and someone in particular?
No.
Okay.
I wanted to stay away from figurative highlighting specific people.
Okay.
Because I wanted the characters to tell the story.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but anyone in particular, yeah, I can relate to. I kind of changed the image up.
Okay.
And I put colors. The colors are the characters.
Right.
The characteristics.
So let's
All right,
do
how's
this.
it going?
How are you?
Pretty good.
Put in the middle
Oh,
of
okay.
You're the artist, right?
Yes.
Y'all remember me?
I do.
Yes, we're doing an
Put
interview
on-
right
Out
now.
of my costume. This is who I am without all.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Thank you for stopping by. Let's jump out of the suit. I want to talk to you about something.
Gotcha.
So now you talked about the colors.
Uh-huh.
So the young lady here draws my attention.
Right.
So tell me about her.
The kids are the future.
Okay, the kids are the future.
She's wearing gold, represent the sun.
All right.
She shines. She's standing in position like Barbara Jordan.
Okay.
Standing firm.
Wow.
Hands on her hip. She's powerful, and she have a certain ambiance, kind of like the brothers. They're standing militant, and they're chest up, chin up, and they're militant. Those are the steps needed to take for unifying. It's a certain discipline and a persona that you have to carry. Not that it's for everybody, but that's just the image, this particular image, you know. And then on the left side, it was representative more of the gangsters in the hood, the Crips and the Bloods, are the people who are, not that they're bad, it's not a bad thing, it's just certain parts of the neighborhood, the people in the communities that are maybe not fully dressed or disciplined or functioned, or the products of their environment a lot of times.
So now we can take the young lady in the gold there, compare her to the young lady in the gold here.
Right. Yeah.
What's the difference in their stories?
Just a generation of age.
Okay.
She's probably in the older generation, because in the paintings I'm gonna add elders.
Okay.
In the paintings.
Side.
Yeah, and that was a suggestion from my dad.
Right.
He was like, you got this younger generation, you need some elders to really bring the story, because we wouldn't be here without them. So the difference between them is probably their generation.
Okay.
She probably grew up in the 90s, where she's in the early 2000s or later, you know, but still products of their environment.
So that in mind, so your father encouraged you to do, which I love, a picture in a picture inside the art. You're gonna do it on both sides.
Yeah.
Those would be elders.
Yeah. Represent the elders,
Okay.
the generation before us, the narratives of the theater itself, because of the history of the Forest Theater, really go back a long way, you know, and historical people like B.B. King, Erykah Badu, Marvin Gaye, all types of names. This was their cultural hub, where the black people wasn't accepted into white buildings or white neighborhoods. This was one of the hubs that embraced black culture and was probably a pioneer of many movements in black culture. So to be able to be painting this mural on the building itself carries history within it.
And so, how long will the mural be up? Explain that story to us.
About 3 months.
Okay.
So Forest Forward have an organization, have a thing where they commission artists every 3 months or so. It's revolving.
Okay.
So the young lady before this, she did a painting for Women's History Month, and she represented different women in the neighborhood. I think it was Miss Vicky Meek, Miss Valerie Gillespie, and Erykah Badu were her main talking points in her painting. And so after each artist finish, or after their month time is up, they take down the panels and put them inside the theater. And I'm assuming they're going to use the paintings for when they open the theater.
Okay.
All the artists will have like exhibition space, or they'll be featured artists.
And so, is there a competition to be one of the artists? How would you select it?
I don't think it's a competition. I think, how was I selected? I reached out to Cheryl. I ran into her a few times before, and I think I just started telling her about the theater, because I grew up around the theater.
Okay.
I've never knew what was inside, and I always was curious about it. And LaCheryl is the lady that's in charge of doing the tours inside the theater and showing people what to look forward to when they do start developing it.
Okay.
And so I reached out to her and told her I wanted to do a mural.
Okay.
And actually before this mural, I did this one here, the Forest Forward mural. And this was, I just moved back to Dallas in November after living in Austin for the past 12 years. So when I moved back, I reached out to them and told them that I was interested in doing art on the theater. And their idea was, well, Martin Luther King Day Parade is coming, and we want to do something for the community. And so that's when I designed this picture here. And I designed it as a community engagement mural where everybody can paint. It was like a paint by numbers where everybody can come paint while the parade is going on.
Wow.
So we did that, and that's how I got introduced to them. And so they were like, "Yeah, let us know when you want to do this part of the mural, and we'll set you some time and a date."
So
Yeah.
so you've been doing a time-lapse video of everything. And I've seen you draw it out. You talked about how you sketched it before. Then you came and you drew it out and you started painting. And then I started seeing almost the paint by numbers. I saw it look like people coming in and painting blue different things. So explain that process to us.
Yeah, so every painting I start with a skeleton or illustration, drawing. And I've been having a great support system of my parents, my girlfriend, and they support me because they didn't want me out here alone and doing painting. So they were like, any way that they can help, they came and supported. So we started blocking in colors. I did the outline by myself, but I just kind of had a team, developed a team they became my natural team to work on any parts of blocking in the colors and the backgrounds and things. So yeah, great support system.
Right. Support system is excellent. And you've made mention of support system a number of times, and how you've been supported from a young person all the way up to now with the art. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And just hope you leave an example for everyone that's out there to be supportive of one another.
Right.
And even in being competitive, so we still support.
Yeah.
So in closing, any words you want to give to us about how soon can we expect it to be finished? We've talked about how in the end we're going to do the elders. Any other things you're going to add to it or make different about it?
Yeah, so I know people are watching, and I know this is in a neighborhood, and the center point of the piece is the newspaper. So I like creating art that people can read and literally read into, and that's what he's doing, reading. So the topics that I put on the newspaper, I want to really reflect or make people raise conversations in the community so that they can get better, the community can get better. And the bottom, I want to add flowers growing from the concrete as a symbolic gesture of, just because you come from hard places doesn't mean you can't grow out of it.
Okay.
And the elders are going to represent the generations before us and the people who paved the way for who we are. And yeah, that's just the overall narrative of the mural. And I'm excited to have the opportunity.
And so what's next? After the mural is completed, what's your next project?
Well, in this chapter of life, I've just started a full-time job as an art handler, and I'm gonna continue to create art and make paintings, but I'm also learning all aspects of art, in terms of presentation, pricing, handling art, showcasing and going to different places. So those things, I'm broadening my scope of what an artist is.
So you're educating yourself through experience.
Right.
And to make you an even better artist, more approachable, more fulfilling as far as what people are looking for from a professional standpoint. Which is, just sharpen your skill set, beautiful thing. Now I want you to do one thing for me.
What's that?
Because I see you have black elevation always motivates society.
Right.
And I think that's beautiful. I noticed when you were painting that that's painted on the back of your shirt.
It is.
So I want you to stand here, facing the painting,
Okay.
looking over your shoulder, and we're going to end it with just zooming in on your shoulder.
Got you.
And I appreciate you.
All right. That's cool. Okay.
All right.
Let's do it.
You have to zoom. You have to zoom.